Hi, welcome to City Talk. I'm Michelle Bono, the assistant to the city manager for the city of Tallahassee. Now, the first thing you may notice, and you'll see on the rest of the show, is that we have a new set. After many, many years, we finally were delighted to be able to partner with FSU. We also have a great person who's helped us a lot with this. His name is Bob Copper, and Bob has helped design this for us, and our kudos to him. Gil Daspit, our director, and we hope you enjoy the new look of the show. But to tell you about today's show, we're going to be talking about the Neighborhood Renaissance Partnership. It started actually more than a decade ago when Steve Meisberg, a commissioner at the time, said we want to find ways to help stabilize some of our neighborhoods. And it involved looking at infrastructure, it involved helping people. Well, now a decade later, the Neighborhood Renaissance Partnership is moving to the next level, and we're going to find out about it on today's show. Now, the second part of our show, we're actually going to talk to two students who have gone through the program to tell you a little bit about what it's meant to them and how they see it expanding into the future. But let's start by joining producer Gil Daspit to learn more about the Community Neighborhood Renaissance Partnership.
The Community Neighborhood Renaissance Partnership, or CNRP, exists to help people improve their neighborhoods. Former City Commissioner Steve Meisberg was a driving force behind CNRP when it started in 1999. The idea was to gather representatives from organizations with an interest in seeing neighborhoods improve, such as local government, educational institutions, and private enterprise. What really makes the CNRP concept work is the residents who work with CNRP to make improvements in their neighborhoods. Local people know what goals to set for their communities and can work with the CNRP partners to accomplish them. Local people can also influence their neighbors to help improve the community. A major CNRP success story is the Apalachee Ridge community. Apalachee Ridge started working with CNRP in 2001 on projects such as removing and replacing a crumbling boundary wall around the neighborhood and traffic calming to slow vehicles driving the neighborhood streets. One of their more far-sighted projects was establishing a technology center, which brought computer and internet access to many residents who didn't have it in their homes. The Technology Center has morphed into a major resource for the community. Its staff has provided countless hours of school support for children, reaching 2,500 students annually. It has initiated numerous college tours to more than 25 college campuses. It's hosted seminars on many topics for adults. It's provided training for in-demand skills such as basic computer maintenance and A+ hardware and software essentials training, and provided computer access for at least 25,000 people over a decade's time. Although CNRP will help individual neighborhoods achieve their particular goals, they plan to expand the Technology Center concept to community centers around Tallahassee. CNRP partner Comcast plans to support teaching internet skills to families needing the training. FAMU Public Computing and Workforce Development Center will partner with CNRP to offer job preparation and technology skills. CNRP has many other partners. Cisco Systems, Bank of America, TCC, FSU, and FAMU are only part of a long list. CNRP is geared towards helping people achieve life goals that can include neighborhood improvements or even building a technology center. However, their greatest contribution is helping to level the playing field so children and adults can flourish, learn new skills, help one another, and ultimately enhance that sense of community that makes people proud to live in Tallahassee.
Sick? Yeah, fever, aches, pains, but I never take sick days.
You know, your part is covered here. We got it covered. If you want to go.
5 years, no sick days.
Welcome aboard.
Evacuation? Now?
Yes. Please.
Jeff, this is you, isn't it?
No. Sure, I love it when my employees are dedicated and they want to come to work. But you got to draw the line.
Hi, welcome back to City Talk. On today's show, we're talking about the Community Neighborhood Renaissance Partnership. And I think you're really going to enjoy this show because you're going to find out what it can mean to you no matter where you live in this community. Joining us on our first segment, we have City Commissioner Gil Ziffer. You are the City Commission's appointee to this project.
I am.
And have been very involved. Terrence McNeil. Terrence, I think you've been around almost since the beginning?
Almost. I came in 2005.
Okay.
A child at the time, actually.
A child at the time.
Just a baby.
Terrence is the executive director of the Community Neighborhood Renaissance Partnership.
Right. Yes.
I think we may just call it the partnership from now on.
CNRP is what we mostly refer
CNRP.
acronym.
Yes.
Commissioner, tell us a little bit about the background. How did we actually get to having this, and what's the purpose?
Sure, and I want to give a great deal of credit to Commissioner Steve Meisberg, because at the time this was his brainchild. Right now, what's from a continuing, ongoing standpoint, what's left is the Apalachee Ridge Technology Center, but the entire neighborhood was affected by what happened. Commissioner Meisberg saw the need in many of our neighborhoods to make pretty substantial improvements, and many of them were infrastructure improvements. Improvement to the roads, to sidewalks, to sewers, to stormwater. And Apalachee Ridge was a neighborhood that was in most need because they had an awful lot of flooding problems down there. And through his leadership and the City Commission at that time, they went in and made substantial improvements to the point now where the flooding is gone. The neighborhood is substantially improved. And what's left also is this wonderful technology center, which Terrence has been running for us for many, many years and has been doing some amazing things for the young people and for basically the entire population down there.
Now, we've done a lot of shows on WCOT over the years about the Learning Center because it's such a great story to tell. But Terrence, for people who aren't familiar with it, what's the purpose of it? Why do people come there? Who comes to the Learning Center?
Well, it started as a central meeting place for the neighborhood association. Among their list of things that they wanted when they were identified to work with the CNRP was a central meeting place. And so property became available, and we did the research and made it happen to acquire that space. But as it became more and more reality, we started to kind of think about ways of integrating technology and making it a more useful educational space. So it serves those two purposes. A lot of great things happen on the neighborhood association level, the adult level, different workshops and seminars that have taken place on everything from home buying to healthy cooking and living, health fairs and those types of things. But as time grew on, we brought in other partners. A big thing about CNRP is that we do collaborative things, not just with state and local government and neighborhoods, but also with corporations who have an interest in the community. And so people like Comcast and others stepped up to provide, internet service connectivity, and it just kind of grew and sprawled into this great thing where we were able to bring, technology into the space and do a lot of digital literacy and workforce development type things in that area.
Now, when we talk about this Learning Center, sometimes people talk about recreation centers in the neighborhoods. This isn't a place you just go to play ball or hang out. It's really high tech.
It is, and Terrence can speak more about that. But also the partners he's brought in through FSU and FAMU and a relationship with TCC and Leon County Schools. And Terrence, he doesn't talk about it enough. But also what he's really done for the young people there. They make visits now to colleges where they bring students that are rising seniors or actually seniors, and they're trying to decide where to apply to go to college. And the things that they've learned and the skills that they've been able to gain by being at Apalachee Ridge, they've done their research, and when they go to these schools, they know what they're looking for, and it's just a great opportunity for the neighborhood. And I have to give my hats off to Terrence because he's been the one that's been driving this.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Gil.
You're welcome.
Well, let me ask you though, in terms of some of the workforce development, I know, I mean, this isn't just come in and play on a computer and do your homework. That's important.
Right.
But tell me a little bit about how you're teaching kids to understand the technology.
Well, when you speak about workforce development type things, we had two approaches to doing that. One, we made sure that we had resources at the center where people could do things such as develop a small business, find out useful information on taxes and that type of thing. So we had a certain section of the center where adults could come in and develop the concept of a business if they had one.
Okay.
But then we did also, invest in being able to teach usable skills that would transfer into the workforce. So our students were prime benefactors of that.
Give me an example of what they're doing.
Well, some of the things that we taught them were different computer technology applications, of course, things that would be usable, such as your Microsoft Office type things, but also kind of moving it to the next level of Web 2.0 things, such as the Google platform, Google Docs, and all those things. Then we got even more technical and taught them things like Photoshop. Moved out of that into A+ certification through Cisco Systems as well. And we also taught them financial literacy.
And for those of us who don't know, A+ certification, that wasn't a letter grade you got. That's a software, right?
Right.
Web language. Or
right. And you don't have to
language.
be an A+ student to learn A+, but definitely it's the gateway to a career in the IT profession. Many people seek an A+ certification first if they want a career in IT, and then go into what's called a CCNA or networking associate, where they learn to connect the computers and that stuff. So our students were able to identify all the parts of a computer and put it back together if need be. And so, with a certification of that kind, one can very easily go out and have a very stable career for themselves without a college degree. And so A+ is just a gateway to doing that. And we sparked a lot of student interest in that type of thing.
We had,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Well, I was just going to say, Terrence and I had a visit with Woody Hildebrand out at Lively, and for me, it was a great experience to learn more about what Terrence was doing at Apalachee Ridge, because when he was filling them in on a lot of things that he was helping and instructing, they were, I won't say in awe, but they were thinking, those are really good skills that these young people, that adults are learning, and I think they were really very much impressed with what was happening in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
Now, I know the board is looking at kind of expanding, and we've had some things in Providence, and we've had things in Apalachee Ridge,
yes.
But you all are talking about taking this out even more. Tell us a little bit about the plans.
Well, I think we had come to the realization that the Community Neighborhood Renaissance Partnership had evolved from what it was for mainly infrastructure in such neighborhoods to primarily being this center of education, of technology. And we have other technology available within our community centers around the city, but we don't have these educational opportunities to the level that Terrence is doing down there at Apalachee Ridge. So the board made the decision, we need to go ahead and start to bring those out from just this neighborhood and start to develop those programs in these other community centers, which Terrence, I think, his response was, well, it's about time. I've been wanting to do this, so here we are. He can fill you in a little bit more, but it's exciting for us.
Yeah, so we plan on definitely doing some networking. We've purchased, we've received some computers, and we plan on creating a network between all of the available community centers that have space and are interested in doing it, where we can have somewhat of an electronic study hall or digital study hall, kind of like a bat phone.
Okay.
Where a student
I need one of those.
It's really neat technology. We're still working on the technology piece of it and how it will work together. But conceivably, a student will be able to go and sit down at a dedicated computer and tap into some of the great resources we have in this community, such as the FAMU Math Lab, where students are there most of the day and able and willing to answer questions from anyone. So getting higher level support, so you don't have to ask your parents how to work on that math. You can actually talk to a college student who's a math pro. Right, right. And the Community Neighborhood Renaissance Partnership, it's a long name, but the name itself really speaks to how we operate, and that is bringing different pieces of our community together for the purpose of improving the quality of life around here. Yeah. One other program that I want to definitely mention, which I think was really great that I didn't get a chance to squeeze in there, was that we also taught a great deal of financial literacy to our students as well, which we hope that transfers into a workforce development or stabilizing of our economy as well by teaching financial literacy at a very young age. And we partnered with Bank of America to do that. I also know the Silver Surfers, where you're helping seniors. Right. I love that. I know. I love the name. Yeah. So the Silver Surfers is great because we have this technology available, and there are things that we could do with technology. And a lot of people who were not exposed to technology, early on in life, it wasn't available. Right. Didn't get an opportunity to really get in, but they say, well, I don't know computers. I'm not technology. I don't do computers. And when they asked me that, I asked them, I said, well, it's kind of like when we first got automobiles. Do you think people say, well, I'm just going to stay in the car, I'm not going to, venture into the... I'm never going to learn how to do that, yeah. So we have to kind of grow with the times. Silver Surfers, if you think about things like video conferencing, a grandmother who wants to see their grandchild in New York or Chicago, things that can very easily be done with our technology now. you know, it really benefits seniors to learn, and we're really happy to teach them.
Now, Commissioner Zidber, just in the last few minutes we have.
Sure.
I know the goal is that it's a partnership.
Yes.
It's not just government, it's a lot of other entities. People who watch this show that say, hey, that's really cool, how do I get involved? How can the community, how can local businesses be a part of this?
Well, we have, since its inception, been very fortunate to have corporate support, not only from a financial standpoint, but also Comcast, for example, has stepped up on numerous occasions. They provided us with free internet access, high-speed internet access. They provided us with free computers. And there have been other business partners like that. So if you have an interest, not necessarily in Apalachee Ridge, but you know there's a community center, Thompson Community Center near you, and you'd like to support this, contact Terrence on Apalachee Ridge. He'd be more than happy to come sit down with you. Or he can get a hold of one of us on the board, and we'd be more than happy to come down and sit down and talk with you. But rather than us keep talking, I think the real opportunity is when you talk with these young people and see what they've been able to do.
Okay, well, that's a great segue to our next part. If you'll stay with us when we come back in just a moment, we're going to have two students who are going to tell you much more about what the program has meant to them. But thank you for watching this first segment. Thank you to our commissioner, also to Terrence for being on the first segment. And stay with us because we've got some great news coming back in just a minute.
Learning how to kickflip 6 stairs takes determination. So will getting into college. I've got what it takes. So do you.
Fire took place 3 years ago. There was a lightning strike. The winds picked up and the fire just took off. You're in shock. You don't know what you're feeling. You have nothing anymore. I lost my home and 40 years worth of art. I never thought that I would need help from the Red Cross. They gave me emotional support to get up in the morning. I'll never forget what the Red Cross did for me.
Hi, welcome back to City Talk. On today's show, we're talking about the Apalachee Ridge Learning Center, which is part of the Community Neighborhood Renaissance Partnership. Now, that's a mouthful, but we are so excited on this portion of our show to have two of the graduates from the Learning Center here with us. We have Adrienne Lurie and we have Sherell Thompson. Thank you guys for being on the show.
Good to be here. Great to be here.
Now, let me start with you, Adrienne. Tell me a little bit about how did you first find out about the Learning Center and what made you want to go?
I saw an interest meeting on our daily scroll at Godby, and it sounded really interesting. So I went to the meeting, and they did a little activity with us, and they told us more about the program. And then I set up an interview, and then that was my first time going there. Okay. And I talked to Mr. Terrence, and he said that there were 77 people who came and that they were only accepting 25, and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna make it. But later they called me back and said that I had been accepted.
Outstanding. How about you, Sherell?
Well, it was one day when I was watching TV and there was a commercial on about it, and the commercial ran and I seen it once, and then the next day I seen it again and I actually got to catch the number. There's always those commercials where you don't get to catch the number on the TV. So when I first seen the number, I was like, should I call? I was nervous about calling. And the next day I heard about the interest meeting and I couldn't make it, so I got to call and schedule an interview. And I was surprised that they actually called me back. And that really like triggered my thoughts about going, and I actually showed up and I got accepted into the program.
Now tell me a little bit about this, because we talked earlier, there are neighborhood centers around the community. What's special, what's different about Apalachee Ridge?
Well, Apalachee Ridge isn't your average recreation park and recreation center. It's more targeted. The volunteers are really involved with their abilities to help the students that come to the center. As far as homework and surfing the web, it goes more into your strengths and weaknesses as a student, note-taking skills in general. They prepare you for, how to interact with your teacher, how to keep in contact so that you have the help that you need at school as well as in the community. And they also give you a variety of resources at the center to use, math books. They have workbooks to help the students. So this center has higher other students that are at a higher level.
A lot of those are college students, right?
Exactly, and to be in high school, the information that they offer us is very valuable to, you know, the next stages of our lives.
Yeah, when I first got there, the secretary there, the first thing she asked me was, what subjects do you need the most work in, and we can find a tutor for you. And there was a lot of stuff, like we could work on our homework there. We had time to work on our homework before the digital connectors meeting started and afterwards, and they had plenty of tutors coming in to help and volunteering.
Okay, and you guys can be honest here. Is it a little bit better to get tutored by a college student than by your parent?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I knew that would be the case, right?
They know like where we're coming from.
Right.
They know how to make it fun. They know how to, you know, really square away. Like with your parents, it's more of, this is how I was taught.
Right.
So you're going to do it by this way.
And
but
my parents are kind of older, so when I asked them about my algebra homework, oh, we didn't have to do that in school.
Right, right. Well, and I just think having college students there too, there's that relationship you get to have with kids that are not that much older than you, but they're able to help, so that makes sense. Now, one of the things that I'm so impressed with is what you two have done in terms of your IT and kind of pushing that computer envelope. Tell me what you're doing now in terms of how have you used technology, what kind of certifications have you gotten, kind of where are you in your career?
Well, I'm certified in Photoshop and Word and Dreamweaver.
Which is a web tool? Okay.
And I work at an office now. And so one of the things that we learned in like the Cisco program through digital connectors was how to maintenance printers and scanners. And I use the scanner a lot. And so just the other day, I had to clean the scanner, and I knew how to do that because of what I've learned at the program.
So you're the IT person in the office. They're like, hey, help out with this because you know what to do. Okay, how about you?
Well, right now I have the 2007 Microsoft Office Specialist certification, and I actually got certified in Word, PowerPoint, and Access, which is a database tool. And that's where I want to go later on in life. I want to go more into database administration. So along with that, being in an IT program in high school, I also got a chance to get a certification in Internet Computing Core. And that's more of computer fundamentals and networking and security, more of that side. But at the center, it really helped me enhance my skills and to reiterate what I've been learning in school. So it actually gave me a more focused and a more leveled foundation outside of school, and I got to really hone in on my skills.
Now I have to just ask you guys, because when you think of, okay, I can say it, computer nerds, right? You think of the Best Buy Geek Squad, and they're young guys with, you know, that look like geeks. You guys are beautiful young women, and you're women. Is it unusual that we have a lot of women who are learning IT?
Yeah, it really is. A lot of people have this this mindset as to where women like more careers in nursing or, you know, in English or something to that effect. But being a female and in the society that we live in, it really proves that, you know, women can do a lot. You know,
they can do anything.
Anything.
Throughout high school, I was in the IT program, and so one of my teachers, Miss Colson, she had a lot of posters up that said, you know, more women need to join the IT industry. And I've never like had to, I know what I'm doing. Just because I'm a woman, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never had that problem, but I have seen a lot more women getting involved in the IT major.
Well, I hope people watch this show and they're like, gosh, these guys did it, I can do that too.
Yeah, the fact that it's very hands-on, the science part of it is very hands-on. It's not, I think a lot of people, a lot of women are intimidated by the technology, engineering, and the whole STEM category. A lot of women are intimidated, but I feel like as long as you look at the broad aspect of it and you focus your skills on that technology aspect, what most interests you, you'll really find something in there that you really like.
Now, one of the things we talked about on the first segment is that all the partners, the city included, are looking to take some of the concepts from Apalachee Ridge and expand it out to other community centers. And I just want to know, what did you guys think of that concept? Is there a benefit of having this available throughout the community?
I believe it's great because I lived on a different side of town than where the center was located, and so I would have to ride the bus all the way out there, and it took a while. It took maybe an hour or so to get there, and I think that's great that it'll be, you know, in different areas closer to home, so that way more students have the opportunity to go out there and learn what we learned.
Okay, how about you, Sherell?
Actually, the summer of my senior year, I actually got to intern at the center before going into college. And one of the little girls came and brought her friends to the center so that they could, you know, enjoy our activities and listen to some of the things that we had to say about the programs that we use. And one of the things her friend said was, well, you know, we don't have that in my neighborhood. And she let us know that, you know, her recreation center is right around the corner, and the people there really are just there to work. And they don't have those type of tools. And she really learned a lot from coming to the center. And a couple of days later, she came back that next week to actually like get on the computer and to talk to me about what she was actually doing on the computer. And so by branching out and spreading, you know, the technology around, I believe everybody can benefit, especially the youth, because they'll eventually benefit our future.
Okay, now we only have a minute left, but I want to pass along. I know you guys really learned the value of service giving, service learning, service giving, where you go back and help people. I think you volunteering at the center is a great example. Tell me what you're doing now to try to help others, you know, in terms of giving back.
Okay. Well, actually, that's a great way to lead into Circle K International is a club, service leadership club that I actually started at TCC.
Okay.
It's based on service, leadership, and fellowship, and by having those tools of leadership development and professional development, using technology skills to, you know, strengthen our communities, I actually got to use that at TCC, and we partnered with a lot of other groups on TCC's campus, our leadership training courses that we have at TCC, and we actually get to use that. And by having that foundation with digital connectors and CNRP, it's actually helped me be a great leader in our club at TCC.
Fantastic. And Adrienne, just quickly, how about you?
Yeah, I haven't really gotten to the service thing. I'm getting ready to start into that with her at CKI. But I always am quick to answer when someone has a question about a computer. I know the answer. I'm like, oh, I can show you how to do this and that, and it's easy to troubleshoot for me because of what I've learned.
Okay. I just want to say you ladies are so inspirational. I hope every young woman, every old woman, every middle-aged woman watching this show will say, what a great program. I hope they'll want to contribute with their time or with their resources to help us spread this to other community centers. Because if we can influence more young ladies like you, I think we're definitely doing the right thing. So thank you for being on our show and sharing your story.
Thank you for having us.
And I hope you're excited and engaged about the Renaissance Partnership as well. They really are doing great things in the lives of young people in our community. Now, if you want to know more, you can visit their website. It's CNRP for Community Neighborhood Renaissance Partnership online.com. CNRPonline.com. You can find out more about how you can help be part of this exciting program. Thanks for watching this edition of City Talk.